Most people think disappearing is a vacation. You tell yourself you are going to delete Instagram, go to the gym, and focus on yourself for 6 months. You think it is a retreat. You are wrong. Disappearing is not a retreat, it is a funeral. If you actually want to return unrecognizable in 2026, you do not just need a break. You need to kill the version of you that is currently running your life. The world has lied to you about isolation. They tell you it is lonely. They tell you it is antisocial. They tell you that you need to be constantly connected to be relevant. This is a biological trap designed to keep you in the middle of the herd. Evolution programmed you to feel anxiety when you step away from the tribe because 10,000 years ago solitude meant death by a predator. But today the predator is the tribe itself. The noise, the opinions, the constant low-level validation you get from people who do not care about you, that is what is eating you alive. The elite, the people you look up to, the ones who seem to operate on a different frequency, they know this. They do not just take breaks, they engage in strategic exile. They understand that you cannot rewrite your operating system while you are still running it. You have to shut it down. If you stay where you are, doing what you are doing, 2026 will look exactly like 2025, just with more regret. But if you listen, really listen to what I am about to tell you, you can split your life into 2 distinct timelines before the exile. And after the return, this is the operating manual for vanishing. We are not looking at a modern guru for this. We are looking at a man who was forced into the most brutal disappearance in history. Niccolò Machiavelli, you think you know him. You think he is the guy who taught dictators how to be evil. That is the surface-level nonsense they teach in school. The real story, the shadow story, is that Machiavelli wrote his masterpiece not when he was on top, but when he was crushed. He was a high-ranking diplomat in Florence. He had power, he had status. He was in the room where it happened. And then, in 1512, the Medici family took over. Machiavelli did not just lose his job. He was arrested. They accused him of conspiracy. They took him to the dungeon, and they gave him the strappado. They tied his hands behind his back, hoisted him up by a rope, and dropped him. It dislocates your shoulders. It tears your muscles. They did this to him 6 times. He did not talk. So they threw him in a cell, and eventually they banished him. They sent him to a tiny, muddy farm outside the city. He was banned from politics. He was banned from the life he built. He was completely irrelevant. This was his disappearance. He could have rotted there. He could have become a bitter old man yelling at the clouds. Instead, he used that silence to write The Prince, a book that changed the entire trajectory of human history. He disappeared a failure. He returned as an immortal. You are not being tortured in a dungeon, but you are being tortured by something else. You are being tortured by your own potential. You feel it every night when you try to sleep. The gap between who you are and who you could be is tearing your shoulders apart. Most people wait for a catastrophe to change. They wait to get fired. They wait for the breakup. They wait for the doctor to give them bad news. Do not wait for the strappado. You have to choose the exile before the world forces it on you. This is the first step. You have to accept that disappearing is painful. It means saying no to the drinks. It means saying no to the events. It means looking like a loser to your friends for a while. Machiavelli wrote letters to his friend during his exile. He was miserable, he missed the action, but he stayed because he knew that the noise of Florence was the enemy of the work he had to do. You have to find your farm. It might be your bedroom at 5 a.m. It might be a library where no one knows your name. It does not matter where it is. It matters that it is silent. You need to cut the cord. Stop telling people what you are doing. This is crucial. When you announce your plans, your brain releases dopamine. You feel good, as if you already achieved it. You tell your friends, I am going ghost mode for 6 months. They say, wow, good for you, man. And that little hit of validation kills your drive. Machiavelli did not tweet about his book. He wrote it in the dark. Silence is the container for transformation. If you puncture the container, the energy leaks out. Now, let's talk about what you actually do in the silence. Most people go ghost and then spend 6 months playing video games or watching tutorials. They replace the noise of the world with the noise of the internet. That is not disappearing. That is hiding. Machiavelli gave us the specific blueprint for the daily ritual of the exile. In a letter to Francesco Vettori, dated the 10th of December, 1513, he describes his day. During the daylight hours, he is in the mud. He is catching birds. He is arguing with the local woodcutters about the price of logs. He is dealing with the mundane, dirty reality of survival. He says he is ashamed of this life. He feels like he is crawling in the slime. But then the sun goes down and the ritual begins, he writes. When evening comes, I return home and go into my study. On the threshold, I strip off my muddy, sweaty, workday clothes and put on the robes of court and palace. Read that again. He puts on his royal clothes alone in his farmhouse. He continues, gravely dressed. I enter the antique courts of the ancients and am welcomed by them. And for the space of 4 hours I forget the world. Remember no vexation, fear poverty no more, tremble no more at death. This is the secret. The mud and the robes, your life right now is the mud. You have a job you might hate, you have bills. You have chores, you have to deal with idiots. You cannot just ignore that. You have to survive. But if you stay in the mud 24/7, you become the mud. You need a sanctuary. You need a time of day where you strip off the identity of the person who is struggling, and you put on the identity of the person you are becoming. For Machiavelli, it was putting on actual robes and reading history. For you, it might be the gym gear you put on at 6 a.m. It might be the specific desk you sit at to learn that new skill. It is a sacred space. When you enter that space, you are not the guy who works in accounting. You are not the girl who is confused about her future. You are the architect of 2026. You must treat this time with holy respect. No phone, no distractions. Machiavelli says he enters the courts of the ancients. He is not just reading books, he is having a conversation with the greatest minds who ever lived. He asks them why they did what they did, and they answer him. This is what you do in your 6 months. You do not consume content. You study masters. You stop watching 15-second clips of advice. You pick the 3 people who have done what you want to do, and you study everything they ever produced. You internalize their logic. You adopt their mental models. You let them mentor you in the silence. But there is a danger here. You can get addicted to the study. You can feel like you are making progress just because you are reading. Machiavelli was not just reading. He was analyzing. He was trying to solve a specific problem. He was trying to understand how to conquer fortune. This brings us to the villain of your life. Machiavelli called it Fortuna. He visualized fortune not as a lady with a wheel, but as a violent, raging river. He said that when the river floods, it destroys everything. It tears down trees. It washes away buildings. Everyone flees before it. You look at the economy right now. You look at the job market. You look at AI. That is the river flooding. And you are panicked because you are standing on the bank watching the water rise. Machiavelli says that most people only worry about the river when it is already raining, but the time to prepare for the flood is when the weather is calm. He writes, "It is not as if men, when times are quiet, could not provide for them with dikes and dams, so that when they rise later, they may go by a channel, or their force be neither so unregulated nor so dangerous. Your 6 months of disappearance is the time to build the dikes and dams. Right now, you are vulnerable. If you lose your job tomorrow, you are washed away. If the market shifts, you are obsolete. Why? Because you have no infrastructure. You have been coasting when you should have been building. Disappearing is about construction. You are building a skill set that is flood-proof. You are building a body that is stress-proof. You are building a mind that is fear-proof. You are digging the channels so that when the chaos of 2026 hits, and it will hit, the water flows exactly where you want it to go. This is the difference between a dreamer and a strategist. A dreamer hopes the river won't flood. A strategist knows it will and pours the concrete. But to build these dams, you have to do something that feels wrong. You have to stop being a nice person, not permanently, but strategically. Machiavelli's most controversial lesson, the one that got his books banned, was the idea that you must learn how not to be good. He saw that if a prince always tries to be virtuous in a world that is not virtuous, he will come to ruin. He wrote, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." This is the uncomfortable truth you have to swallow. You have been conditioned to be a people pleaser. You have been taught to say yes. You have been taught that if you are just nice enough, the world will give you what you want. That is a lie. The world eats nice people for breakfast. During your disappearance, you have to kill the part of you that needs to be liked. You have to become ruthless with your time. Your friends will call you selfish. Let them. Your family will say you are distant. Let them. You are not being mean. You are being effective. You are protecting the asset. You have to look at your life with cold Machiavellian realism. Who is dragging you down? Cut them off. What habits are making you weak? Destroy them. What beliefs are keeping you poor? Discard them. You cannot carry dead weight up a mountain. Machiavelli realized that sometimes you have to be the beast to save the kingdom. You have to be the fox to recognize the traps and the lion to scare the wolves. Right now, you are just a sheep, and the slaughterhouse is waiting. In your 6 months of silence, you are growing claws. You are learning to say no without explaining yourself. You are learning to walk into a room and not apologize for taking up space. You are learning that your own respect is worth more than their approval. This is the transformation. You go in soft. You come out solid. So here is the timeline. You start now, not next week. Now, you initiate the protocol. You do not make a big announcement. You just fade out. You stop posting. You stop commenting. You stop scrolling. You embrace the boredom. Boredom is the soil where ideas grow. You have not been bored since 2008, and that is why you haven't had an original thought since then. You set up your evening court. Find your robes, whatever that means for you. Create the ritual. For 6 months, you live a double life. In the day, you do what you have to do to survive. You pay your taxes, you smile at the boss, you wash the dishes. But at night, you build the empire. You learn the language, you code the app, you write the book, you lift the weight, you build the dikes and dams against the river of mediocrity. You will want to quit. 3 months in, you will feel crazy. You will feel like you are missing out. You will see your friends at a party on someone's story, and you will feel a pang of loneliness. Remember Machiavelli. Remember him in the mud, catching birds covered in filth. He could have gone back to the tavern and drank away his sorrows with the locals. He could have accepted his fate as a peasant. But he didn't. He went home, put on his robes and spoke to kings. And because he did that, we are still talking about him 500 years later. Nobody remembers the people who were partying in Florence in 1513. They are dust. Machiavelli is alive. 2026 is coming fast. The time will pass anyway. You can arrive in 2026 as the same person you are today, just 2 years older and more tired. Or you can arrive as a stranger, a person so changed, so sharpened, so formidable, that your old friends will have to reintroduce themselves to you. The door to the study is open. The robes are waiting. Step inside and close the door. And with that, you will be able to turn the silence into the weapon that conquers your future. If you are ready to stop drifting and start building the dams, there is one more psychological trap you need to dismantle before you start.